Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cakeman Entertainment. In today's podcast, I will be discussing The Bad Batch, mainly the first couple of episodes, and why it was a banger of a start to the series. Long before this show came out, we saw The Bad Batch for the first time in Clone Wars Season 7. Their arc was quite enjoyable, refreshing, and was different to anything we had seen before, with the aspect of mutated clones, with enhanced powers in particular areas, such as Hunter with tracking and Wrecker with brute strength. It's something that was always on my mind, that if clones are bred in a laboratory, then there can't be a 100% success rate. There must be deformed, mutated, or failed clones, something that was touched on with 99 in the Clone Wars earlier seasons. A bit after the Clone Wars Season 7 concluded, Disney announced that The Bad Batch would be getting a series. Then in the following months, a couple of trailers dropped.
A test is in order. 5 enhanced clones? More capable than an army.
The trailers showed us a lot without showing us much, meaning there are a lot of shots but not much was known about the plot. We saw Palpatine, Tarkin, Fennec Shand, Saw Gerrera, and Rex, which was great. The big question was, what happened to the Bad Batch during Order 66? Where is this series placed? If they didn't follow the order, is it because of the mutations or were their chips taken out? Whatever the case, I was pumped. This was said to be a Clone Wars Season 8 of sorts, pretty much, with Filoni at the helm and the animations looking better than that of Season 7 of the Clone Wars. There was huge premise here, with possibility of seeing how the clones were after Order 66, the introduction of stormtroopers, Kamino getting left behind by the Empire, and most importantly, bringing unity among a fan base that has been divided for some time. Disney decided to release a 70-minute premiere episode on May the 4th, a gift of sorts to the fans and also a cover for not dropping any trailers or any other major news about any projects. I was extremely pleased after the first episode. Order 66 happened almost immediately, where we got an appearance from Caleb Doom and his master Depa Billaba, the latter being slain just as Caleb said in Rebels. The Bad Batch actually being with Caleb during Order 66 is an interesting link-up between characters and series, which I also enjoyed. We see that Order 66 hasn't affected the Bad Batch, or at least not immediately. They drop little crumbs throughout the episode that Crosshair might have been affected by the chip, and it's fully flushed out by the time the episode ends, with a showdown between him and the rest of the Bad Batch. We get to see some politics, with Tarkin looking to move away from the clones due to the cost, as well as being introduced to an all-new character, Omega. Omega is also a clone who is mutated, similar to the Bad Batch, and so many theories exploded after episode 1 about who she is, where she comes from, is she force sensitive. I even saw a theory that she's Palpatine's clone, which could be true, but we're not sure yet. Either way, she definitely seemed to have enhanced senses, which were shown where she shot a blaster and also sensed Crosshair falling to the chip's orders. As I'd expect, the animation had stepped up a notch, with insane snow shots, as well as lightning, half light, half dark pan shots, long shots filled throughout. Episode 2 brought us back another clone, who was different from the rest, but not from mutation. It was from abandonment of his clone duties and instead becoming a father, and that clone is Cutler Quain. We see the Empire taking control in all the planets throughout the galaxy, by running things using clone troopers. This episode was good as we got to see character developments, in particular for Hunter and Omega, having a father-daughter relationship. Initially, Hunter wanting to leave her with Cut as he's an experienced father, but then he realizes that she truly likes him and wants to be with the Bad Batch, because it's as close to her home as she has. Episode 3 starts off with the Bad Batch expressing their feelings towards Crosshair's departure, Wrecker in particular mentioning that he misses him even though Crosshair shot him. At this point in time, the Bad Batch aren't exactly sure what the true effects of the inhibitor chip are, and this is where Omega comes in. She seems to be quite knowledgeable with everything going on in Kamino, and she knows the true effects of the inhibitor chip. She tells the Bad Batch that he isn't in control of what he's doing. We also see the tricklings of a divide between the Kaminoans and the Empire. The Empire slowly trying to phase out the use of clones due to cost, as well as believing that soldiers who are willing to fight for a cause will fight a lot better than those who are bred to.
What is the status of Project War Mantle?
On schedule, sir. Our top recruits are here to begin their training, under their new commander.
Throughout this episode, the Bad Batch are basically trying to find a capacitor so they can restart the engine on the ship and have to encounter a monster underground to do so. As it is with much of Star Wars, nature and animals play a big part, such as Obi-Wan with many animals throughout the prequel trilogy. Omega seems to have that same calming effect on animals as she retrieves the capacitor by herself and relaxes the animal. Where this episode excels is the Crosshair moments, and in particular the interactions with his squad. The members of his squad are human, and they know he's a clone and treat him as such. They mock him and say his leadership over them will end soon, which of course is correct. Clone Wars is at its best when it's dark, grounded, and deeper in themes. Bad Batch follows suit here when Crosshair guns down a member of his own squad for the simple reason of good soldiers follow orders, and he didn't. The order itself is extremely dark as well. It's executing civilians. The other human troopers are quite shook after their fellow troopers gunned down right in front of them, so they follow Crosshair's orders and kill the remaining civilians. Crosshair is clearly in a trance from the inhibitor chip. His sole purpose is to follow orders, and that is apparent with all of his actions in this episode and the following ones. Overall, these 3 episodes were quite excellent in their own ways. Episode 1 being a movie basically at 70 minutes, with some intense action scenes, the forced betrayal of Crosshair, and then in the second episode it was more slow-paced, giving us time to settle down after the Bad Batch disbanded from the Empire. They are on the run and looking for allies. And in episode 3, the interest for me lay with all the Crosshair and Empire scenes, delving into the control the chip has over Crosshair, what he is willing to do to follow orders, and also the split between the Kaminoans and the Empire due to separate visions. It was a great start to the series with these 3 episodes, but what was to follow really dropped the quality for the show for me.
Oh, don't kill me, please.
And instead of making me yearn for more, I was left feeling empty, as if I'd got nothing from these episodes. To find out why I felt like this, you'll have to watch my next podcast on the Bad Batch series, focusing on the next 3 to 4 episodes. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts, and as usual, these thoughts are my own personal opinion, so please let me know in the comments below what you thought of these first 3 episodes. Also comment below if you enjoyed this podcast and would like to see more of this type of content. I have slowly started uploading podcasts on the Clone Wars arcs, but need your support to keep growing, so please chuck a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, the Force will be with you. Always.